school have been texting me.
Hey guys, so we're going to put row 6 on here.
Traumatized as much as I have. Definitely not being on the scene, but being kind of away from it. But yeah, it's been pretty scary. I'm feeling a lot better now.
And
Yeah. Is there anything that
we're going to get started.
happened differently? Yeah, no, I think the police responded very quickly. I think they did a great job. Yeah, I don't really know what could have happened. Maybe there's more police presence at certain areas for there not to be a shooter. I mean, I think that's just like the most obvious thing, but yeah.
Or anything else you want to add?
No, that's great.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What's your name?
Cody.
Cody? Super.
So you hear it there, that's a interview wrapping up with a student who you can sympathize with as he's talking about
Slip stitch and a chain one.
Heard the gunshots and heard what was happening.
Slip stitch.
Right? He said his adrenaline was pumping, he was shaking, he started
Chain
to
one.
A lot of people know what that feels like when you do get that adrenaline pump going on.
Slip stitch in your chain 1 space. Chain 1.
Parent who showed up on campus. We heard from the students. Now let's take a listen to what one parent was saying. As
Slip stitch in your middle double crochet. Chain 1. Skip a stitch. Slip stitch. Chain 1. Skip a stitch. Slip stitch. Chain 1. Slip stitch in your chain 1 space. Chain 1. Slip stitch in your middle double crochet. Chain 1.
Let's bring in Dan Linsky now, former Boston Superintendent and Chief of Police. Dan, sadly, it feels like every time I talk to you, we're reporting on another situation like this. We're still waiting on a lot of
Slip
details
stitch.
about what we know exactly went down there just a couple hours ago on the Florida State University campus. But I go back to the words of
Chain 1. Slip stitch in your middle double crochet. Chain 1.
I mean, you think about like
Slip stitch in your chain 1 space.
and the horror and terror that these students who either were directly involved with this, were victims of it, or had to witness it, Dan.
Absolutely, and those are going to be things that stick with them for their entire life, unfortunately. And unfortunately, these kids that are at Florida State right now, they grew up in a world where active shooter was a term they knew, and where they trained and responded in their schools with them.
And Dan, stand by for us. I'm sure we have
Chain 1.
happening with one of our local affiliates. If we
And
want to
slip
do
stitch
that.
in your corner.
Free will
Now flip.
for whatever they want to
Flip
do.
your
And so, like, it's very
square
but
to put it on top of your other one.
like God is
Because our rows are going this way.
and that people would maybe
And you're going to poke it in your corner.
but
In the other corner. Wrap it around the other corner. And put it in that one.
and Allison,
You come back through.
I was studying for an exam.
Chain 1.
But yeah, it was chaos. We were standing up there, and then we actually were by the windows. So like at the windows, we saw cops,
Chain 1.
students running. It was just like complete chaos. Everyone was like running all over the place, and then you saw like a gurney, and then like the gurney came.
Chain 1.
And the guy had his arm cut off, and I think like he was bleeding, and like he had like bandages and stuff, and so like that was really hard to see. Yeah.
I can only imagine what was going through your head when you kind of realized that there was a shooting on their campus.
I mean, when I saw everyone flooding up the stairs, I kind of thought that like the shooter was like in the library. I mean, like nobody told me where it was. They said like Landis or like whatever. And I was just in utter disbelief. I was like, you never think that it's gonna be like you and your campus, but you really never know. So it was just, it felt surreal. But yeah.
How are you doing now?
I'm doing okay. I mean, there's other people who are doing probably a lot worse than me, so I'm just like mourning for those people because I feel really bad. But other than that, like, just waiting to like get my stuff back. My car is in one of the garages that they like locked down. So yeah, I don't have any of my stuff, so I'm just waiting for that.
Anything else you want to add, Amanda?
In the midst, okay, I'll look at you. Okay. In the midst of chaos, like the Creator, God, gives peace under all circumstances, and He seeks to have a relationship with everyone. And so, like, look to Him. for the source of questions and answers. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. So another interview there with a student testifying to what she experienced this afternoon. Said she was just studying and looked out the window and saw cops running everywhere. Saw someone going by on a gurney. Said, you know, she finds peace with God right now, despite what happened just there.
An incredible show of faith.
Yeah, a lot of these students are very, you know, they're given what happened, they're very mature. They're looking at it they're pretty calm for the most part. And Nicole was just saying, we want to bring Dan back in, that she was talking about how she had to leave all her belongings behind. She's likely not going to get a chance to get those belongings anytime soon, Dan, because it's on lockdown and police are doing their investigation, right?
Absolutely. Let me just put a couple points out for those people watching who have family there or kids who are watching on campus. Most likely this is over. The attack is over.
And we're tying in our ends right
5 to
quick.
7 minutes with either law enforcement ending it or self-harm to the person who did it. However, oftentimes we keep the campus locked down and secure because there's lots of misinformation. We want to make sure that there isn't any potential chance of harm to anyone else. So if you are in sheltering in place, continue to do what you're told.
So we don't have to come back and tie them in later.
Out of your location. For families and friends, text your kids. Don't call. We need those cell phone lines open for law enforcement to go back and forth. But I do encourage you to text everyone. Have them, encourage them to text all their friends and family. Let them know they're safe. Sometimes the event might be over, but they can be locked down for an extended period of time. And to help them emotionally survive that, having conversations with family and friends and conversations with that, just like that young woman had about, you know, what's going on and where they are and how they're going to be safe and they're going to see their families, can help you get through this. We started, before you went to the interview, with the trauma these kids are exposed to today. Unfortunately, they grew up in a world where active shooter is a term and a thing they did at high school and elementary school to prepare for. Hopefully this event is completely over, and I look for the fact that law enforcement is planning.
And there's your square, guys. You put it on.
Active event and is still concerned about, you know, personal.
You grab another one. You put it on this one. And then you'll fold it over front ways. When we fold it down, it's going to be just like this one.
This is an abundance of caution situation.
But you put it on like this,
Well, for those who are in the hospital, obviously.
and you join this side.
Update on their condition, and we do
And then you flip it up,
for any of those individuals.
and you'll join this side.
Display of faith by that young woman was so inspiring and such a horrific moment.
So remember, you join this side first, and then you'll join this side right here.
These students were told
Have a great day, guys. Thank you for watching.
first they still had to
Don't forget to subscribe and like.